Hi guys, sorry it's been so long, but I was sick first, then I got better, then I had an incident with a puppy, which was really long and drawn out, but it's getting better. So, anyways, I'm gonna do a special Halloween edition for you guys and tell you guys all about driving Uber on Halloween night. And just to get in the spirit of Halloween, I am wearing my Chewbacca onesie. Loving it. So, yeah, let's get into some Uber stories from Halloween night. I mainly drove out in Santa Monica and Hollywood that night, which, like, the night before Halloween wasn't so bad. Halloween was horrible. The traffic and, I mean, everything was just so insane. It took me about like 20 minutes to get 2 blocks down the street. That ended up being in like resulting in a lot of canceled rides because nobody wanted to wait 20 minutes just to go a couple blocks in a different direction. So people were canceling rides left and right. I ended up turning the app off, moving to a less congested area and turning it back on. And from there my night went smooth, but I kept crossing my fingers that I didn't get pulled back into Hollywood. I still don't know what event it was, but I think it was a parade or something in Hollywood, and there were just hundreds of people flooding the streets. A lot of the streets were shut down, and while I was stuck in traffic, it seemed that there were a lot of, I don't know if there were like injuries or what was going on, but while I'm sitting there stuck in traffic, there were a ton of ambulances passing by in the lane that the police had closed down. Maybe that's why they closed it down. But yeah, there was just so much going on. I was on the 101 and there was this huge accident that happened where a guy rolled from the right hand of the freeway all the way across to the carpool lane. Like his car flipped over throughout the lanes, and I guess he ended up passing away on the freeway. So that was really hard, and I had to drive by it like 3 different times. Yeah, people weren't really, I guess, polite about like somebody passing away on the freeway. Like some of the people I had in the back of my car were making really rude comments. So I mean, manners, people. Anyway, I wanted to talk about some of the best costumes I saw, some of the places I went, some of the most popular places, and I guess some of the best things to do on Halloween. So I tried to be fun about it. I did drive around in costume both nights, the night before Halloween and Halloween night. The night before Halloween, I was Rocket Raccoon, and the night of Halloween, I was Spider Girl, Spider Woman. So anyway, I ended up having a little bucket of candy in my car, and I found these really cool, like, you know, toy medals that you would give away at like a little kid's birthday party or something. I don't even know what they said. I think something about participation or something. I just thought it would be really fun to hand out little awards to people that I saw in the best costumes. So I gave out a couple of those during the nights. Anyway, so some of the like looking costumes I saw, I mean, they were cool, but they weren't like top of my list. I think they were just popular costumes because I kind of saw a lot of them throughout the night. Like, well, I mean, whether they were in my car or I was driving past them. So I did see a lot of like fancy or fairy reindeers. I don't know what you would call them, like girls dressed in just really pretty dresses or fancy cocktail type dresses with like these really cool antler crowns that were like glittery, and their makeup was just really like I don't know what you would call it, mystical, or like just really like fairy like. There were a lot of masquerade people, like just again dressed in really pretty dresses with like the little masquerade masks. Still seeing a lot of Jack Sparrows. He's a really popular costume for guys. Um, let's see. I picked up a couple of girls that were wearing dresses of the characters. I don't know if any of you have ever seen those. I have two myself, one of Jake the dog and one of Finn. They're just really plain like skater type dresses with like the character's picture on them, like it's meant to look like you're them. So I've seen a couple of those. A Darth Vader girl, a SpongeBob. Sorry, I'm reading from my book. I write everything down. I keep looking down. Let's see. Some of the really cool costumes I saw that I gave little medals to were there was a group of people I picked up from the parade, and I don't even know if it was like borderline Santa Monica, Hollywood, but I picked up a group of people that had like the most amazing costumes. They were, I don't know, just really cool. So one was a chick magnet. He literally had this giant cardboard magnet that he covered with foil, so it looked like a real magnet. And then he had a rubber chicken. Like, so cool. Then there was a guy who had, again, another like poster board cut out that he made himself with a hole in it for his face. And he was a Tinder profile. I mean, he had everything on it, from like the little Wi-Fi signal strength to Verizon at the top. He had the swipe button. I mean, it was really cool, and he like carried it around his face. So, you know, I mean, that was again a really cool, innovative, and creative costume. Um, one of the girls was Nemo, but it was the way she pulled off the Nemo. So I guess she got, you know, when you go to like fairs or carnivals, you win those giant, like huge stuffed animals for playing like a basketball game or something. Well, she ended up having this giant Nemo stuffed plush, and I guess like for her and her boyfriend, it was a last minute decision to go with their friends to the parade, and they needed quick costumes. So she cut a hole in the top of Nemo, pulled out the stuffing, cut a hole in the bottom, and then on the underneath the fins for her arms. And legitimately, I mean, she was a really small girl, but she put the stuffed animal over herself, and it looked so cool. Then there was the girl, the other girl who was in the car that was dressed as Indiana Jones. I mean, just such a simple costume, but it was the way she pulled it off. Like, she had her little messenger bag and her little flannel, and I mean, right away I could tell what she was, but it was just really done cool. I did end up seeing a lot of Jokers, but I had one in particular in my car. I guess he said his sister was like a makeup artist, so he had like the slit. I mean, he was the Heath Ledger Joker. He had like the slit on the sides of his mouth that was like, it really looked like his skin was cut in two, and his makeup, his costume, they were like great. He paid for the deluxe edition. Um, there were a lot of sugar skulls, like everywhere. I guess because you can wear your regular clothes and just do like your whole face or half a face, and then the other side like regular makeup. But I did get a couple of really nice sugar skulls in my car. Not sure if any of you know what the sugar skulls are, but they're like more represented in the Mexican culture for like Dia de los Muertos kind of a thing. So you can do it either like a dark type of makeup, or you can go like really festive and fun with them. I mean, there's lots of different variations on the sugar skulls. I picked up a group of friends who, they weren't in costume, but they were showing me pictures and telling me about it. They were the Three Blind Mice, which again, super cool and really creative. I did pick up a guy from a party where he was dressed as Ryu. I didn't want to ask him at first whether he was Ryu, because he looked the part, like the spiked hair and like everything. And I didn't want to ask him because all of his gear said MMA. So I was like, okay, maybe he's an MMA fighter. But when he first started walking to the car, I got, like, the geek in me was just screaming, like, oh my god, it's Ryu. Like, I was so excited to see his costume. And I think because he was the only, like, I guess, video game thing I saw that night. So I was really excited. Like, it brought back a lot of memories of being in the arcade, you know, like with my quarter, like, got next game on, you know, Street Fighter and stuff. So I was really excited to see him. And it took me a few minutes to get up my courage and ask, like, okay, have to know, what are you supposed to be? And when he told me Ryu, I was so excited. I'm like, okay, I thought that, I kind of knew that, but then all of your stuff says MMA. But I guess it turned out that he is actually an MMA fighter. So he just used what he had on hand. Let's see. That's about it for the costumes. Okay, a lot of the places I picked people up at were Knott's Berry Farm for their Not Scary Farm. Universal Studios, I don't know what they call it, but they do a Halloween thing too. Picked a lot of people up from Disneyland because they do like a cool trick-or-treat thing for the kids. So I was picking up a lot of couples and families with little kids from Disneyland. A lot of people from that parade on Halloween night. A lot of people the night before Halloween from like parties at homes. Haunted Hayride in LA was another big one. And then there was a couple of drop-offs at, oh gee, what was it called? It was like in a warehouse industrial area. I think it was like called Creep Ballet or something like that, where they told me it was like supposed to be like a submersive type event where you actually feel like you're being chased after and afraid for your life. I don't know why anybody would put themselves through it, but I do admit I'm kind of interested for next year maybe. So yeah, those were the really big popular things to do. So that's about it for this video. I'll post more in a few days. Let me know in the comments, anybody watching, what you want to hear about. I have a few topics in mind. Let me know which one you'd prefer to do next. I mean, eventually we will get to them all, but you know, just to see which order we should go in. I have like a couple of stories of some of the scariest moments I've had driving, some of the weirdest things I've seen while driving, which some of them are a bit out there, drunk stories with lots of drunk people. I've got some really out there stories involving women where I just want to say, guys, no means no. Like, that should go without saying, but I don't know what's going on lately with some of these stories that I've been hearing. Tips for riding in an Uber. I noticed that there's a lot of people who give tips for driving Uber, but this one's more geared for the passenger, like, you know, what you shouldn't do in an Uber. I've got a bunch of random stories, and I also have one on tips, money tips. So let me know in the comments which one you'd want to see next. If not, I'll pick one and post it up. But till then, subscribe, like, let me know how you feel. Thanks guys, bye!